We are going to jump right into what you're going to be doing for ViaNolaVie in order to update and also correct the metadata. So when we do that crawl, the crawler knows exactly what to take and how to categorize it. So it's a nice searchable WARC or web archive. So what you're going to do first is you're going to go to vianolavie.org and you're going to enter your username. So the username, each of you, remember, has a different one. So this is team CL10. All right. You each have your own password for your group. So go ahead and put in your password. All are case sensitive, so make sure follow them exactly, right, with lowercase. So you'll see up the top then it tells you like howdy team CL10. Okay, so you know that you're in. I'm going to go because you're actually probably going to come to this page first. So in order to get to where you need to go in order to work with the metadata, you're going to click on new. All right, that's going to then take you to the back end. There are really only two categories on this left-hand side or two areas that we're interested with. All post and categories. Those are the only two that we're interested in. All right. I'll show you categories first. As you know, you're choosing 3 categories for every article / piece of content. All right. What I've done is, so we have, of course, you have your main quote unquote header. City context is one of them. We have people, places, events, organizations, and city context. ViaNolaVie has those 5 main category headers. Okay. Then we're going to have subheadings, which fall underneath those main headers. So, for example, under city context, there could be something on education. You will see in categories, I have all of the descriptions of what would fall under that. So, first things first, just familiarize yourself. You have 4 pages of these categories. Familiarize yourself with what these categories are saying. You're going to use them all the time. It'll be very helpful. So, for example, education and educational practices in New Orleans in the past and present. Let's say that you have an article or a content piece that is about the lack of sexual education in the educational system in New Orleans. Then you know you're choosing education. Let's say that you have a piece on the Green Light Project, but specifically the Green Light Project and how it's helping with the environment in New Orleans. That's going to be, that could also go under places. So this is where it gets tricky. So city context, the environment is going to be about the climate changes, and natural disasters in New Orleans from the past, present, and into the future. So if it's talking about, for example, the destruction of the coastal restoration of the coast, that's going to be city context under environment. Now, if you're talking about a place, like an organization that helps with the environment, you'll see that when we get to organizations, so it's going to be on the next page, under organizations, then you're going to have environmental organization. So if it's specifically talking about like Green Light Project or Glass Half Full or Coastal Restoration Organization, that's going to then fall under organizations. It won't fall under city context. Okay. Hence why you go to really know what your article and content piece is about. All right. So that goes into organizations. We have food and drink. So if you're covering something like the Food and Drink Association of New Orleans, that's going to be an organization that won't fall into, for example, we then get to events or people. That's going to be totally, totally different. All right. So you really need to know all of that in order to categorize these correctly. So we have people, there's more under people, there's places, right? If you spotlight a specific school, let's say that you're focusing on Bard Early College and it's a piece about Bard Early College, that's not going to be about education. That's going to be about a school, which is under a place. All right. So really familiarize yourself with these different categories. So you have your main category, right, which is going to be your people, place, events, organization, or city context. You have your subcategory, which is going to be things like if you're under places, park and outdoor leisure. The third category then is always under this last one of style / voice, because we have to tell people what format this actually is in. So is it an audio podcast, a creative writing, an interview, a map, a photo, creative art, a recipe, a reflection, a review and critique, or we've got a couple more then on the very last page, a video. That's the last one. Okay. So if it's, for example, just a piece about someone reflecting back on Hurricane Katrina, then you know that you're going to be choosing for the style or voice reflections. There's lots of people who talk, it's going to be what yours is going to be city context, food and culture, right? Because someone did a Southern specific New Orleans recipe and the format is in a recipe. Let's say it's about the New Orleans naked bike ride. That is going to be an event, right? It's going to be a street event and it's going to be a collection of photos. Those are your 3 categories. Okay, so first things first, go through the categories, familiarize yourself so you know what you're putting and where. Then you're going to go into all posts. All posts is going to pull up all the 7,748 pieces that are in ViaNolaVie's backend. Here is going to be your best friend. This is your filter. So let's say that you are, let's say January of 2023. You know you're going to do all of the pieces in January 2023. Put that in, click filter. That is then going to pull up every article. So there's 17 articles that came up in January 2023. Okay. So let's go to the evolution of slavery in the prison system. Let's go ahead and view this one. All right. So when you view this, you know what? You all, can you not edit? I'm going to change your rights so that you all can edit. Let me go and show you how you're going to edit these once I give you editing rights. So you all are going to be switched over. All right. So let me go into mine and then it'll show you how you do this. So we'll start let's just start from the front page. Okay. But remember, go into all posts and then you're going to put in the filter of your month and year that you're going to be doing. Okay. So once this gets into the main one, let's say this is my article. All right. And you're going to have a little thing that says edit post. You're going to click on that. Okay. Then when you're in the full backend, you do not need to touch anything. In fact, don't touch anything. The only thing you are fixing or changing is going to be under this categories. This is what we're focusing on. This is the metadata. Now, you may not have any idea. This is about water and wellness, the steamboats, economic and racial prosperity in New Orleans. That may not even give you enough information on what this article is about. If you scroll down, you're going to have an excerpt. So this piece is by Hannah Fink explaining the economic and cultural prosperity in New Orleans in 1841. Many wonder how New Orleans became such an advanced city during this time. One answer may be the steamboat and port. So we know that this is about like cultural and economic prosperity, and we know it's about a steamboat, and we know it is a news article. Okay, so our categories. Environment, definitely not. This is where you may have to change these. Race and ethnicity, no. So let's look at our options. So city context, not about education, not about food and culture. It's not about gender and sexuality. It's not about health. It's not about incarceration in prison. It's not about politics. It's not about religion, culture. It is about social class. It's about the economic situation within New Orleans. There we go. So we know that this is a city context because it's talking about the city. We know that it's going to be a social class. Now we are done. You skip down all these other categories until you get to the style and voices. All right. Is it an audio podcast? No. Is it a creative writing? Possibly, because it's newspaper. Is it interviews? No. Is it a map? No. Is it photo and creative art? No. It's not a recipe. It's possibly a reflection, and it's not review or video. So I'm thinking this is most likely a reflection. Let's make sure. Yes, this person is using the news article in order to make a comment on the city context. Therefore, in that category, I would choose reflections. Okay. Now, if you come across an article or a piece of content that you're like, I can't tell if it's a city context, people, place, event, or anything, and I have no idea what it is, all you do is click uncategorized. All right. That will then send it, and we know to relook at that in order to have that adjusted. All right. Once you have chosen those metadata categories, you're going to hit update. All right. That you have to hit update. If you don't hit update, it will not save your metadata. The crawler won't work, and then you won't get any of your service learning hours. So make sure you do that. Now, the annoying part, you have to go back into all posts, and this is super annoying. I know you have to put your date in again. Let's just do, like, for example, if you're November 2024, you would have to put that in again. Okay. Hit your filter. It then is going to pull up. This only has 2 items in November. All right. because these are scheduled and they haven't gone yet. So I didn't give any of you 2024, so don't worry about that. All right. That is the protocol of how you do this. Okay. So remember the steps. Log into ViaNolaVie. You're going to most likely hit new. And when you go into new, you're going to see just either the only two things you're looking at are categories and all posts. All right. Familiarize yourself with the categories so you know exactly how these are, right? So you have the understanding of what they are. Once you know those categories really well, go into your all post, filter by your specific month and your specific year. I gave you 2 weeks to do this. I would do 1 month a week because it gets very tedious. Okay. And we're going to be doing it for a couple weeks. And then go in, make sure you choose 3 categories, 1 main category, 1 subcategory, and then the style or voice that it is in. Okay. Then you're good to go. If you have any questions, put them in the discussion board on Canvas so that way everyone can get the answers. And good luck. And remember, be super thorough about this, because if this doesn't work, I can't do anything about it. This automatically will go to your service hours, learning hours. I can't change it. So you've got to make sure to do this well. So when the crawler pulls this, that your dates and your months show up. If there's any dates or months lacking, then you don't get service hours. And of course, I have it connected with your name. So make sure to do this really meticulously. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.